So how does a guy from like 200 years ago create a story that's more intense than most movies today, with just a piano and someone singing? Well, that's what we're about to figure out. We're diving deep into the world of Franz Schubert.
Okay, but first, let me ask you something. Have you ever been listening to a song and it just gets you? Like you actually get goosebumps on your arms or your heart starts beating faster? Yeah, hang on to that feeling. All right, I want you to picture this. It's pitch black. You're in some deep, dark forest, and the wind is just, howling like crazy through the branches. Then, a storm hits. Boom! Thunder right overhead, and you see a rider on a horse, just galloping like their life depends on it. And they're holding on to something small. And then you hear it, this voice on the wind. It sounds sweet, but it's also completely terrifying. It's whispering things, making promises, and it does not sound human. Pretty wild, right? Well, that whole scene, the galloping horse, the storm, the scared kid, that creepy voice, that's not from a movie. It's all from one song. It's called The Earl King, and it was written by a teenager. Seriously, a composer named Franz Schubert, who is barely older than you are right now.
So how on earth did he pull off a whole horror movie in just a few minutes of music? It's like he had a four-step plan. First, the piano creates this insane chase scene. Then, the singer has to become four different people. The music keeps building the panic, and it all races towards this absolutely tragic ending.
And this is where it gets totally wild for the singer. They have to switch between four roles. You've got the narrator just setting the scene, the worried dad trying to keep it together, the terrified son whose voice gets higher and higher with panic, and of course, that super creepy, sweet-talking Earl King. It's a huge acting challenge, all done with just their voice. Now, this kind of intense storytelling wasn't just a fluke. Schubert was a total master of this. You could call it a secret formula for turning poems into musical dramas. It's called the art song. The best way to think of an art song, or Lied in German, is as a short film for your ears. The poem? That's the script. The singer is the main actor, playing every single part. And the piano? Oh, the piano is the entire special effects department. It's the setting, the weather, the sound effects, everything.
And that's what makes it so different from, say, a simple folk song. In a lot of songs, the piano is just kind of there in the background. But in an art song, the piano is a co-star. It's an equal partner. The music literally changes with every twist and turn in the story, pulling you right into the middle of the action.
Right, so this idea of the piano as a partner is everything. Because in Schubert's hands, the piano doesn't just play a nice melody. It actually talks, it paints pictures, and tells its own side of the story.
There's a name for this technique. It's called word painting. And honestly, the easiest way to get it is to think of it as music's version of emojis. It's a sound that instantly shows you what a word is supposed to feel like. So, let's go back to the Earl King. When the lyrics talk about the horse galloping through the forest, the piano doesn't just play some random notes. It plays this fast, pounding, relentless rhythm that is the sound of horse hooves. You can literally feel the speed. Or take another famous song of his. The poem's about a girl who's heartbroken, sitting at her spinning wheel. So what does the piano do? It plays this constant, looping, whirling pattern that sounds exactly like a spinning wheel. It puts you right in the room with her, feeling that restless energy.
But Schubert didn't stop with just single songs. He was like, okay, a 4-minute story is cool, but what if I told a much bigger one? He started linking songs together to create these epic emotional journeys.
Yep, I'm serious. More than 100 years before bands started doing it, Schubert basically invented the concept album. He called them song cycles. Just think of it like a playlist where every single song is a new chapter in one big, continuous story. Two of his most famous are The Fair Maid of the Mill, which is all about a young guy's travels and his ups and downs with love. And then there's the super dark Winter Journey, which follows this lonely wanderer through a bleak, frozen world. They're basically entire emotional sagas, told one song at a time. So you have to wonder, who was this guy who could build entire worlds with just 88 keys and a human voice? Well, his own life story is just as dramatic as any of his songs. See, Schubert wasn't playing in giant stadiums. His music was way more personal. Instead, his friends threw these awesome get-togethers called Schubert-Tiads. You can just picture it. A small get-together, basically an exclusive secret listening party where Schubert would just hang out and play his newest stuff for his friends.
And it's a really good thing his friends got to hear that music because he was working against the clock. This is how old Franz Schubert was when he died, just 31.
But in that incredibly short life, this is how many of those art songs he wrote. Over 600. And that's not even counting all his other stuff, like symphonies. The amount of music that poured out of him is just mind-blowing.
And that's his real legacy. You know, before him, a short song was often just seen as simple entertainment. But Schubert came along and proved that a 3-minute song could pack in just as much emotion, drama, and meaning as a gigantic 2-hour symphony. He made the small things feel absolutely epic.
So, if you take away one thing, it should be this. Schubert showed the world that you don't need a massive budget or crazy special effects to tell a powerful story. Sometimes, all you need is a voice and a piano.
Which kind of leaves us with one last question. If a song from 2 centuries ago can paint pictures this clearly and tell a story this intense, what are we missing in the music we listen to every day? What happens when we stop just hearing the beat and start really listening for the story?